Hey again, everyone, and welcome back to the channel for our weekly news recap. And this was an eventful week, I think, for Marvel fans and even comic book fans, right? You don't even have to be, I think, an MCU fan. There was a really great announcement that we're definitely going to talk about. I think you've probably seen it at this point, the Wolverine from Deadpool and Wolverine coming out. So that's been exciting, but it's not the only announcement we got, including there was a figure that dropped today, a couple of pieces that dropped today that from Damtoys, great 6 scale figure company, and also from Exo 6, as well as Damtoys dropped something at the end of last week, which I definitely want to talk about because I'm very excited about it. So before we jump into things, there are a couple of news stories that I'm not going to touch on. For example, Jazz Inc.'s Catwoman. We've seen them at this point. There's been a lot of ongoing discussion. There's been a lot of rendering shown. I'm on the fence. I'm not going to get excited about it until I see an actual prototype. And once we see that prototype, at that point, then we could discuss it, right? But right now, he's working on it. I think there's not much to discuss at this point. And also with Jazz Inc., it looks like they are moving forward with the animated series Batmobile. Now, I myself am out of the 6 scale vehicle game for the moment. I think my personal experiences with the vehicles have kind of shifted those priorities to make those lesser. And I'm going to focus on figures at this point. But if you're interested, it looks like that's going up for pre-order too. So. But let's start with obviously the highlight for the week, which is the Wolverine. Now they did it in two versions. So they're doing a deluxe and a standard. So we're going to look at the deluxe, which basically includes everything that the standard does. So look, we were expecting this. Hot Toys teased it and Sideshow teased it. We knew a movie like Deadpool and Wolverine was going to have figures. It's interesting. Hot Toys has kind of backed away from Marvel for a little bit, right? We got God Loki finally, which I was very excited for, but they've skipped the Marvels, which maybe isn't surprising considering that the Captain Marvel figures, the two that they've done to date, have been sitting for a while, right? And I think they're at some point Sideshow was gifting the original Captain Marvel. We didn't get anything from Miss Marvel. And I would have expected at least having her. That was actually a pretty decent show. So that was a little surprising, right? But I think this is something we all expected, and we have a lot of high hopes for this movie. That it's going to be a return to form for Marvel and the MCU, and it would be such a shame if they waste bringing in Ryan Reynolds, whose Deadpool has been awesome, and bringing back Hugh Jackman into the Wolverine role. I also know a lot of people aren't crazy about Hugh Jackman, and they said he's too tall, right? The Wolverine in the comics, he's short, he's stocky. Look, Hugh Jackman's been the only cinematic Wolverine we've ever gotten. So for me, he's almost as iconic to the role as Robert Downey Jr. would be to Iron Man. So while I expect there to be some recasting at some point, I think it's awesome we're getting at least one more go with Hugh Jackman. And more importantly, I think it's great that he's getting a chance to finally wear the mask and finally wear a more comic accurate yellow and blue suit. Not to say that it doesn't have some of those MCU flair and things to it, but look, first thing we had to talk about is the sculpt. This, I think the only Wolverine I don't own is the new one that came out from Days of Future Past. I'm still gonna try to get it, right? But I'm just trying to see if I can get him for a deal. But this sculpt, easily of the ones I own, is the best. It just looks like that hyper realism Hot Toys is giving us now. It's got the rolling eye system, and for once, I think that the recent Hot Toys releases have been showing they've kind of mastered this look that they have, because it used to be where the rolling eyes almost seemed a little unrealistic, but it looks like Hot Toys is definitely getting the hang of this, because this looks awesome, right? The texture on the skin, the detail on the hair, the likeness is 100% there. This is almost perfect to my point of view. Yeah, I know we can expect some softening of the sculpt as things kind of develop. If Hot Toys can even get 90% of this, I think we're in for a treat. And just judging on the prototype, this looks great. When I was talking about the suit too, you can tell it's got the textured elements, it's got the lines throughout on the sleeves that give you even though it's a very simple suit, there's a little complexity to it, which Marvel likes to do with their suits. So look, deluxe version. Deluxe version comes with this Hugh Jackman sculpt. It's the only way you can get it. It comes with the fully sleeved arms, so you can swap out the arms, which is cool. And then it comes with interchangeable battle damaged armor plating on the chest, and it looks like the gauntlets can also switch out where you've got some battle damaged elements. So that's what you get with the exclusive. Now the standard comes with the mask sculpt and with interchangeable face plates, which I love. I think these look great. It comes with the hands, right? And then it's just a figure. So the standard is a much more simple release. For me, I already ordered the deluxe because I want the full set, right? I want to have options. The question almost becomes, and I think it's going to happen, I tend to not buy two of anything, right? I feel like sometimes they're unnecessary. Here, Hot Toys actually did something smart because I think this sculpt is so good, I don't know that I would want to just keep it in the box. But at the same time, a lot of us have been asking for the mask sculpt, so I don't want to keep that in the box either. So this is the first time in a long time where I'm actually inclined to pick up two. Now, I think with all the accessories you're getting, clearly the deluxe is the way to go to get it. The only way to go to get these. And then instead of two deluxes, I'm wondering if I should just get a standard with the masked head. Now, the mask itself, that looks pretty great, right? That looks comic accurate. Again, continues some of the line work that we see with the Marvel suits. But the fact that we're getting an almost comic accurate comic book suit, that's pretty incredible, right? Now, interestingly enough, right, we saw this look in the trailers with the clean look. I don't know. Hot Toys did tease 3 different looks for this, right? They're showing the sculpt with the clean armor with the sleeves. They're showing the helmet with the clean armor without the sleeves. And then you get the battle damage one, which removes the shoulder pads, removes the sleeves, and has the battle damage. So my guess, this is kind of what we're going to see him like in the movies. Personally, what I would like that third look to be, or the fourth look to be, which is why I'm getting the second figure, the alternate look, is going to be this fully clean look with the masked version on. I think that's going to give you something that really looks incredible. And then I'll have the I think I'd like to have the unmasked with the sleeveless look as well. Now the arms are also seamless too. So where are they? So looks like you can get some great posability out of it. Just visually, the figure looks amazing. I had personally thought that we might be getting a diorama base with the deluxe, because that's how Hot Toys have been kind of approaching their deluxe figures at this point. But look, what we're getting here is pretty awesome. This is almost perfection. I had to day one pre-order it. I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see Deadpool and whatever deluxe version of Deadpool we get, right? They're going to be great companion pieces. And then I think the rest will have to wait for the movie to actually be released to see what's coming, if we're going to get any alternates, like Lady Deadpool is rumored. I'm sure there are other variants of Wolverine. I don't know what else we're going to be surprised with, right? There were some screenshots of Sabretooth. It would be great to get a Sabretooth figure. I don't know that Hot Toys is going to go that deep in the line, but they could, right? They surprised us. We looked at them with Ahsoka. We've looked at them with Thor Love and Thunder. We're getting 4 figures from that. So anything is possible with Hot Toys. This is great. And one of the things I like, and this is more credit to the MCU, right? Because Hot Toys is just replicating what's on screen, is that they're giving us these eyes, right? The lensed eyes to really give you that great look from the screen. And we've seen it with Deadpool. We've seen it with Spider-Man, where usually the complaint was without seeing the eyes, you couldn't really get emotions out of your characters. Now we've seen that really go, out the window, because you really can get Deadpool showing emotion. So the same thing with Spidey. This looks great. I like the interchangeable faceplates, right? I like the angry gritted teeth look. I mean, this is a great release, and I'm not surprised everybody's excited about it, including myself, because this is a figure I think a lot of us have been waiting for a while. So great release. 2 versions. If you just want the mass version, you can get the standard. If you want everything deluxe, if you want 2 looks, then you're in the same boat I am, where you could probably mix and match and do deluxe and standard, or just get 2 deluxes so you get all the pieces. It's a great release, and it's a great way to start this Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Uh, I think we're all excited about it. I hope it's as good as we all expect it to be. Now, next figure, keeping with that excitement, and this one's going to be something that I think more than anything, I'm going to be more excited about than any of you. But I do pick up the Gangster's Kingdom line from Damtoys. Damtoys is one of my favorite 6 scale companies besides Hot Toys. The quality of their figures is always great. This line, I think I've only had one issue with a figure to date. The tailoring on the clothes are phenomenal. The accessories that you get are great. Damtoys have started doing something where instead of forcing you to buy one mega deluxe piece, which is what they were doing at first, they're kind of parsing everything out so you can almost mix and match and decide what you're going to pick up. Now, interestingly enough, the line was Gangster's Kingdom. They switched it to Poker Kingdom at some point in time. They actually took down the line from their website. And Damtoys doesn't really update their website that much. Like you'll notice, they don't really cater to, I don't feel like they cater to the US market or maybe a Western market as much. All their announcements tend to be on Weibo, which is where I first saw the pictures for this. But look, I get the pieces. They're awesome. The tailoring is great. Now, I don't know why they switched from Poker Kingdom or from Gangster's Kingdom to Poker Kingdom. Nobody's answered any of that. Who knows? But this is why I love the line, right? You get these great accessories. You get these alcohol bottles with the skulls imprinted on them. You get a drink. You get the lit cigar, and then look at the weapons, right? We've seen the Desert Eagles before. I don't think that we've seen a silenced version of them, so that's pretty cool. You've got the brass knuckle knives as well. That's awesome. This weapon with the bat that you can reveal a sword from it. This great hooked piece. There is so much here to like. The issue with a lot of these pieces is how do you display them, right? And that's why I like that Damtoys kind of looks at that ahead of time and gives you these diorama pieces. Like you also get a helmet here, right, that has the bull. So in case there was any doubt, this is the representation of let me get to the picture really quick. This is the representation of the Rock, right? He's got the people's eyebrows, almost like they're doing that, right? And look at the eyes. You can see the bloodshot veins. These are done in a very animated style, which doesn't appeal to everybody. I get that, but in hand, these look phenomenal, right? The fact that you can even put in like this pick right into his mouth, it's really great. And then the figures also, the amount of work that goes into the tattoos, and I know these are just printed on, but right, you get the bull on his arms, you get the tribal looking tattoos. Most of the time, you're never going to see them, right? And that always, to me, was a shame because you get these figures that somebody at Damtoys loves this line. Somebody really, obviously, the head of Damtoys or whoever that is, right, loves these and makes sure that a lot of effort goes into them because it's a niche line. I don't see many people picking them up, but this looks phenomenal, right? And talking about the accessories, you do get a diorama piece here that allows you to really display everything, which I think is awesome. It is going to take up space. And one of the things you'll see, and we're going to discuss it too, is there is an add-on that's included here, which is this couch that's from the back of a classic car. That is incredible. But you can see how much space this one figure is going to take, right? So that's just something to keep in mind. And then, of course, you get the alternate looks. The bandanas are always great. A couple of their figures have had them. I would only caution you, don't let your figure keep that on the mask because usually there'll be some color bleed and you'll end up getting a stained sculpt, which kind of sucks. Sometimes the arms are already stained, which is kind of annoying. But look, you get a ton of great accessories here. It's a beautiful looking piece. This is the deluxe. You can get a non-deluxe that doesn't include the barrel. This sculpt, right, it's also interesting because usually you can see kind of in the story where these fit in. There's nothing here that tells me who this guy's supposed to be. You do get a bloody t-shirt and a fat suit, but there's no body to use. Sometimes Damtoys will give you these without a body and you have to buy them yourselves, but they'll give you the arm, the hands, the feet. Here they're not giving you much of anything, so I'm not exactly sure what to expect from that or what this character is supposed to represent, but you get a ton of great pieces. And the other thing I actually like I like the glasses. Um, Damtoys did get a little lazy at one point, and a lot of the figures were just having repainted versions of those glasses. This looks like a new version, a new set of glasses. So pretty cool. Again, I know it's a very niche market, but it's something that if you do collect them in hand, and I have one right here, you'll be impressed. As a 6 scale collector, they tend to be some of the best figures I own, and that's even comparing them to Hot Toys, right? I don't own any NR yet, so we'll see when that comes in, but they still hold their own, and nobody's making figures like this, right? Now, the other thing, and this is where I also like what Damtoys does, is a lot of their figures, starting with that Wolverine, included some animals that were in tune with the line, so an animated kind of version. So we've gotten dogs, we've gotten a cat with Angelo, the accessory pack, we've gotten a hyena. Have we gotten anything else besides those? Not really, or I don't recall. I'm sure we've got a lot, right? We've gotten Rottweilers, you've gotten Dobermans, you've gotten a lot of really cool looking pieces. These are static statues, right? So don't expect mobility, right? You can tell there's no joint. It's a statue piece that's meant to just enhance your figure. Now, here you're getting a panther. Gorgeous, right? These in hand, I can tell you, I've never been disappointed with one of these. They always look great. The sculpt on the faces looks fantastic. You get the gold chain. Very simple, just an add-on if you want it. And then here's what really sets this set apart. Let me find it. It's this. You get the couch made out of the back of a car. You're getting two options. You can get it in black and red. Again, just be prepared. This is going to take up a lot of real estate, especially with the barrel display. But it's so cool. And it looks like the lights actually turn on. So for me, the question is, I'm getting it, right? I want to get these. I like to have the full set. Question is, which one? Do I get the black or do I get the red, right? The black looks kind of a little bit more muted. The red has that just vibrancy of color that is going to give it a little pop. I don't know if these are USB powered. I hope they are, because I would like to keep these on, but it's an awesome display piece. And look, with a lot of the figures you're going to see, right? Obviously the Wolverine is already ordered. This one I haven't ordered just because I'm waiting. I'm trying to figure out which couch I'm going to get, but I'm probably going to order it in the next day or two, the full set. So it starts adding up in terms of expensive pieces, even from or sets, especially from different companies. So some of the figures, as cool as they are, right, I just have to pass on, because at the price point we're starting to get on a lot of these, you can't get everything, right? Unfortunately. But super excited about this Damtoys release. And Damtoys, we're not done with them, because they kind of surprised us with a few other figures that I definitely want to talk about. But next up, in terms, and I'm kind of doing them in order of what I'm getting. So the first two we just looked at, I'm definitely getting, right? They're figures that I have to get. This one, the next one we're going to look at, I think is going to fall in that category as well. Look, it's Exo-6 and Star Trek. Super, super niche line. This is not, looking at these figures, right? I very much doubt that somebody that's just scrolling through Sideshow, for example, looking for something to buy, is going to immediately gravitate to one of these pieces, right? When you have Marvel, when you have Star Wars, when you have DC, when you have other companies doing some really visually stunning pieces, a guy in a uniform like this, not necessarily the best, right? So you really have to be a fan of these characters to get them. Now, this is the first time I've seen Exo-6 do this. You are getting 3 versions. So you're getting the essential duty version, which has a standard uniform, very limited accessories. You get this Darmok edition, which I think is from a specific episode where he wears a jacket. So you're getting an alternate look. And then you get the all-in package, which basically includes the 2 uniforms, not 2 bodies. I think it's just 2 uniforms. And then it includes, and you can kind of see just the different accessories that it comes with. So it's really a deluxe, but look at the price, $245 plus 20 shipping. It's definitely approaching that Hot Toys level price. And the question that I think we as collectors, even for Exo-6 collectors, have to ask ourselves is, it's twofold. Is it worth that much money, right? I think some of us will say it is because of who the character is. And then is, what are our expectations? Are we expecting a Hot Toys quality product? Because that's the thing that I've been noticing with X06. With some of the older figures they had, I wasn't expecting a Hot Toys quality product. And I made the mistake with the Janeway because I compared it to Hot Toys Black Widow. And the Hot Toys Black Widow sculpt in particular was so much beyond what we got from that Janeway. I don't know if the sculpt was off or it was just limited to the poor paint applications, but it was just night and day. Now, I'm glad to say that the Captain Pike from Strange New Worlds figure I just got dramatically improved that. That was easily the best sculpt I've seen from X06 to date. Right? One of the things I always question with X06 in particular are the eyes. Damtoys does it. Hot Toys does it. 3.0 does it. I think InArt does it, right? Based on what I've seen. So all these companies really excel at giving you realistic looking paint on the eyes. X06 for the longest was doing kind of a dab of paint. It looked more like those original Hot Toys that looked very much like the G.I. Joe figures, right? Like a stepped up version, but they were always what kind of held the sculpts back, as well as not the best paint application. From a tailoring perspective, the uniforms were always on point. I think X06 takes pride in kind of getting those accurate. And even the more complicated uniforms, like what we're getting from Discovery and Strange New Worlds, they tended to do really well. So that's not something that was an issue, a question. It's really the sculpt itself. And this looks great, right? This looks like Picard. I think the eyes look great. They look like they should. And I think the texture and the detail on the sculpt looks pretty phenomenal. So if X06 can continue to do what they did with Pike, with this figure, and the future figures they have coming out, I think they've kind of established a new benchmark for themselves that is going to make anybody happy, if you're a fan of this, picking these up. Now, the reason I'm focusing on the deluxe is obviously you get the two looks, and the appealing thing here is you get the flute from that episode where he has to kind of relive that person's life. You get a fertility idol, and you get a pad, and you get his Earl Grey tea right in a cup, just like Janeway's coffee. Look, tea, right? Is that the most exciting accessory for somebody that's not familiar with the show? Absolutely not, right? We're just talking about Damtoys and their Gangsters Kingdom line with a barrel with alcohol and just visually like bottles with skulls on them. This is a plain cup with tea in it, right? But it's exciting if you know the show. And then you get the banner too from Captain Picard Day. That's a nice throw-in. I don't know where I would display this, so this would probably be something that stays in the box. But look, it's Captain Picard. If you're a Star Trek fan, he's an iconic character, right? I have the Locutus of Borg. I have the Picard from Picard Season 3. So this is an easy pickup as well. It's not obviously in terms of excitement, it's the Wolverine, it's the Gangsters Kingdom figure, and then it's this one. But these three are figures that the first two definitely have to come in the collection. This one is definitely going to come in the collection too, just not necessarily. I'm going to wait closer to the end of the pre-order window to order them. So and that was kind of recent. That literally just dropped today. Now, next release that we got to talk about, and this is where we're starting to enter things that maybe not exactly immediate purchases, right? But Damtoys again hit us with a video game line for Monster Hunter. I don't think I've played this game since PlayStation 2 when it originally came out, right? I think it was for PlayStation 2, or maybe it was for PlayStation. I played it. It was entertaining. I don't remember any of these figures from them or characters, right? Now, they're doing two versions, a deluxe and a standard. So what you're looking here is the full deluxe kit, and they're doing it in partnership with it's a collaboration with another studio, similar to what they did with the Resident Evil one. Now, those Resident Evil figures looked great. They were a little pricey, but they came out great. I was also hoping that they would carry that on into Resident Evil 3 or Resident Evil 4 or Nemesis and give us some other characters. Doesn't mean that they're not going to, right? But at the moment, it looks like it's, they're not proceeding down that path just yet. But this kind of came out of nowhere, right? Nobody expected this. I didn't expect it, maybe. So maybe I won't say no one, but I didn't expect it. But it's a pretty decent surprise. The reason this is on the list is if budget were not an option, and if you see like that Wolverine, I'm thinking about picking up too, right? The Gangster's Kingdom, the full in, that's going to be an expensive package. Then you've got Picard, who, so I have friends who would easily tell me, and I think even you who are watching would probably say this looks better than the Picard. From a visually aesthetic point of view, this looks more impressive. But again, if you don't have the connection, if you have the connection to that show, that's what brings that Picard figure up a little bit. But this looks phenomenal. Even not knowing, just barely knowing Monster Hunter and not knowing how the story has evolved. I mean, the sculpt on this, sure, it's a video game character, but looks pretty interesting. The fact that the suit is made out of essentially the pieces of dead monsters, again, pretty awesome. And the diorama base with bone fragments and the like. I mean, how can you not like this, right? They're also including in the deluxe some additional weapons with real chains. I love when companies, especially Damtoys, does this all the time. They use actual real material, mixed media, so they'll use real metal, right? There's also the standard that doesn't include that extra weapon and doesn't include the diorama. Still looks pretty good. But look at just the hair, the design on this. Again, I'm not familiar with the video game piece. It looks a little exaggerated, which probably goes well in line with video games, but there's just something visually striking about that piece, right? I think with the diorama in place and this other monster, it looks fairly unique. I think that's what it is. It's unique. It looks imposing. It looks like it's going to have presence. I just don't know where I'd fit it, right? Because it doesn't even go with the Resident Evil figures I have, right? Those are very tactical, very military in style. This is just something completely different. So while it's great, this is where budget comes into play, right? While it's great, it's not necessarily a must get, which is just, but it's visually awesome. And if you're familiar with the story, I'd love to know what you think about this one, because it's not the only one we're getting, right? Damtoys also came in with a second one, and again, I don't know who the characters are, but they did the same thing, a deluxe and a non-deluxe, right? So the deluxe comes with this turtle, another diorama base, and these dioramas look great. I mean, the turtle's super small, but these look great, right? You get another unique weapon for him. And then you get some accessories, not much, definitely not as many as the other character, but it looks pretty good. I like the sword. It's a video game, right? I would love to pick something like this up. Imagine that in your display. I just don't know with everything else how it would go. And this is where the collector in me sees something like this, a figure like this that looks impressive, and immediately there's an interest, right? But this is where I have to look back at everything that I have in the collection and say, will it fit in, right? Plus space, I don't even have the module cases yet. I got my shipping notice finally, or my shipping invoice, not notice, but shipping invoice. So that was a nice little shocker right there. Especially, actually, that was pretty quick. It's been 6 months. So if that comes in, I guess it's a pretty decent time frame. But anyway, going back to these, right? I think space is going to be limited. So I have to be very careful with what I get, because something like this looks stunning, but the question is always going to be, where does a piece like this fit in? Where does a figure like this fit into the collection? As cool looking as it is, right? What do you really do with this? But if you're interested in it, this was awesome. I think I looked through the pictures a ton when this came out this morning, just because I thought both figures were really visually stunning. So another awesome release from Damtoys. And like I said, Damtoys is just a company that I don't think gets the attention that it necessarily deserves. And that's partly because of the licenses they go for and the more niche market. But if you have them in hand, they'll impress you. And then the last figure I want to talk about really quickly is from Easy and Simple. So Easy and Simple, I've got a lot of their military figures, right? I would put them just a tier under a Damtoys and a Soldier Story in terms of their accessories and their design. In hand, the Easy and Simple looks great. It looks like a great companion piece to those Damtoys figures and those Soldier Story pieces, but the equipment does feel a little bit more fragile. It's not to say it's not good, right? I love the figures I have, but there's just a little distinguishing feature between both, right? Even with like quad MVGs, looking at them, right? The Damtoys just has a little bit more detail on them, which is kind of surprising when you consider that Easy and Simple has so much detail to begin with. So the figure we're looking at is the Delta Force from Delta Force, or this 2022 line that they're doing. I'm not quite clear on how Easy and Simple comes up with their names. Now it's the cultural support team, so it's probably somebody attached to the Delta team. Look, you'll immediately see there are a ton of display options, and you can even see it here, right? You've got this different scarves, you've got different pair of pants that you can wear instead of the standard camo, right? Then you've got all the gear, right? You got the helmet, the quad MVGs, you've got the gear. These figures are awesome, but they are a pain to put together. So just I'm warning you, you're going to spend a couple of hours doing that. You're going to probably curse and mutter under your breath because you're going to end up stabbing yourself with these little pliers to get everything in. So just be prepared. But the detail work on the weapons too continues to be great with like the stamped logos. With military, one of the things that I look for is looking at something that's going to stand apart, right? Because if you get one of the things too that I will say about Easy and Simple, a lot of it feels like kit bashing, where you get a couple of new accessories here and there, and then you get usually reused pieces, reused weapons, reused helmets. Right, the helmet is pretty standard at this point. So you really, unless you exclusively collect military, I almost look at picking up pieces that are going to be a little unique and stand apart. So something like this is very unique, right? I don't think they've done this before. A female soldier before, so it's pretty cool. I don't know that I would do it with I would display her with the helmet. I think that takes away some of the uniqueness of the figure they're putting out. I do like the look with the tan pants just because it's different. I don't know that I display her with the quad MVGs on, but it's an interesting release for them. I like that Easy and Simple continues to give us these different looking figures and think a little, I don't want to say outside the box, because again, they do run the risk of being somewhat kit bashy, but at least they're giving us something that's a little bit different and stands apart in an entire military range. So that was pretty much it. So a lot of exciting announcements. For me, the Wolverine is definitely at the top. The Gangsters Kingdom one is right on par, though. Those two lines, I love those lines. They're some of my favorites. So I'm very excited that both of those got kind of announced. Those are definitely, I already ordered the Wolverine. The Gangsters Kingdom one is going to get ordered. I just need to pick the couch, which one I want for the display. Picard, I'm probably going to order him, but I'll wait a little bit. I don't know. If I don't get him direct from Exo 6, I'll get him from Sideshow. Just there are other priorities right now that I want to get, like that Damtoys stuff. If you don't pre-order, half the time they go on wait list. So and then the secondary market is actually a little pricey on those at times, so I want to get those. And then you've got those other figures like the Damtoys Monster Hunters. I'm probably not going to get them, right? I'm waiting for tons of invoices, right? Marvel and Hot Toys, right? I still have to get my invoice for Black Panther. Who knows what else they're going to release at this point. There are more pre-orders coming up. Deadpool's coming, so that's going to be another day one pre-order probably. Yeah, the days of not pre-ordering things are done. I think you can play some games with it, but it just seems like if you want something, we're kind of reverting back to the older style of collecting, which is more limited releases. Not everything is going to be limited, right? I think some things you can still get for a decent price overseas, but it's just something to keep in mind. So those Damtoys figures, they look fantastic. I just don't know that they would fit in anywhere. And even the Easy and Simple one, which I would normally say, yes, I'm definitely picking up. There are just so many other things that are priorities, and budget's always a concern. So you got to collect responsibly, right? That's the way I kind of approach this. If money were no object, I tell people everywhere, I'd probably buy everything, and then I'd worry about where to put it later. But I do have to think about all that. But really, really fun releases today, really exciting announcements. And I'm looking forward to seeing what comes in next week. Hopefully we get that Deadpool. I think that one is dropping imminently. Just the fact that we already got the Wolverine, I think Deadpool is incoming. So I'll be very excited to see what's left from that one. So look, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on these, and if there's anything I missed, or if you have any thoughts on any of these pieces, I'd be curious, or any insights into some of the things we raised. So again, thanks for watching. If you are enjoying the content, please consider dropping a like, comment, or subscribing, and we'll touch base on the next video.